Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another official Detroit Piston basketball podcast. We're in edition number 17, and I got a special guest with us. Big, bad Ben Sam Bale Wallace.
Yes, that's right. I'll never live that one down, but that's a good one. Yeah.
I don't think you should live it down, man.
No,
that's your
I'm
nickname
gonna live in
forever,
that
man.
glory. I'm gonna hang on to it.
You gotta hang on to it, man. You gotta hang on to it like you're grabbing a rebound,
I'm
yanking it
gonna remind.
down.
That's right. I'm gonna remind everybody. I was compared to Ben Wallace, so yeah, I gotta be the
You're not
best.
compared to
Best
Ben
ever.
Wallace. You are Ben Wallace.
I am the white Ben Wallace.
Own it,
Yes.
Sam. Yes. All right. We got Big Sam with us. Sam is an extraordinary rebounder.
Yeah,
He-
they had a hoop outside of the Little Caesars Arena, so we had a great time after the home opener last year.
yeah. Dude, I can't believe that was a year ago, man.
I know it. It's time warp.
That was, how long ago does that feel to you?
I don't know. Doesn't seem that long, but I guess it's a year. I'm not gonna argue with the planets on that. So
Like, I'm not gonna argue with science, man. It's just been a year. Dude, I'm gonna argue with science, all right? It feels like 10 years.
yeah,
It feels like a long time ago.
yeah, yeah.
Sam, you had,
Yeah,
so
I
you
was
had,
rebounding. I was a rebounding fool, but I couldn't make a shot. So I
well, you played like Ben Wallace, that's for sure.
yeah. I think we stayed there. Me and Sadiq, we stayed there till like everybody was gone.
What, Sadiq was your friend?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool,
From
cool.
the west side
What's
of
side?
Michigan.
Cool, man. Dude, okay, I was curious. I thought that was, for some reason, I thought that was RJ's friend, but that was your friend, Sadiq.
Yeah, yeah. He came with me.
All right, cool, cool. Awesome. So Sam and I, before we started up, Sam and I were talking about Mason Plumlee and all the hate that he was getting amongst Piston fans, and some of it's like any, in my opinion, like anybody that gets hated on, some of it's justified, some of it's on them, some of it's not. A lot of it's circumstantial.
Right.
I mean, what is your take on it, Sam?
Well, it's really kind of a tough one, but we don't know. The jury's still out on him. It depends on how these games are going to go, how he's going to be judged, truly. But a lot of people are mad at him because of his contract. It's probably a little high. He's got a no trade clause, I think, or not a no trade, but like a partial payment on a trade or something like that. I had heard. So I mean, we're locked in with him, but like you said something about this. He's taken minutes away from our rookie Stewart, so people want to see him. People have compared him to Ben Wallace a lot. So he's somebody that people like without even seeing him yet, really. So he's got a tough thing going. He's also not that athletic, so he's going to get dunked on by guys like Bryant a couple times a game, maybe. So that's not what we want to see.
Not a reference of any sort. It's just saying.
But he's still a fundamental guy. He could be a development piece for these young guys. Like, he can set good screens and he can shoot on a pick and pop. I don't know. We'll just see how it goes. I mean, for some reason, Weaver and Casey had a lot of faith in him. He's been in the league for a while. He was never like a star, or he was hardly even really a role player. I mean, he always had a role on a team. He was playing, but It wouldn't. I don't know what his efficiency ratings have been in his past years. Just seems like every time I watch him, he's getting dunked on.
Now, I it kind of reminds you of what's his name, Aaron Baines.
Yeah, sort of,
He
but
got
not as
dunked on a lot.
strong. More,
But
more of like a, yeah, I don't know, sort of.
I would say okay, let's put it this way. Kind of pivot away from Plumlee, even though it's Plumlee's the topic. Going to Isaiah Stewart, you brought up an interesting point on Isaiah Stewart, and you said that a lot of people are comparing him to Ben Wallace. You think that's an adequate comparison? You think that's like on par, or do you think that's just Piston fan bias?
Yes, I definitely do.
Yes,
He
to
has
what? Which one?
it's biased on the Pistons fan. I mean, it's like we want a Ben Wallace so bad because he was the absolute man. Like there's no doubt he should be in the Hall of Fame, Ben Wallace, and I mean he's the most deserving out of anybody in that going to work to have his jersey retired. So I mean everybody jumped behind Ben's back. He was the leader of the team. But I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Stewart. From what I see from him, he got that delay a game warning, and like he's super rookie. He's super rookie. He's not ready. So there's a reason why they got Plumlee.
If I could get your take on this, do you think he's closer to being Jason Maxiell or Ben Wallace? Like if he was if he is peak potential,
I'm gonna say
like injuries, like considering everything, like not a perfect world, but if you were like if you could project his future, what do you think he'd be closer
of
to?
any former Piston or of those two.
I guess those anybody you want, I guess. But I was just thinking those two.
Boy, I'm probably more on Maxiell side of things. Maxiell wasn't bad though. I mean,
no, he wasn't.
He wasn't Ben Wallace, but
he wasn't Ben Wallace. I mean, he wasn't a starter to begin with, but he was great off the bench. I'd love Maxiell in limited minutes, man. Got 10 minutes a game. It was just so perfect for him. He really produced. He's one of those guys that took advantage of the 36-minute per stat line.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that his motor is anything to brag about yet. I don't know enough about this guy.
No, neither do I. I'm right with you. Neither do I. It's one of those things where I'm kind of in the same boat with Killian Hayes. It's like we really haven't seen a whole lot of him. I mean, we got a good glimpse of him during the preseason, but I don't think it's enough to make a judgment.
Right. Yeah. He might be one of them guys that it takes a little bit to develop into, but I guess he was pretty good defensively. I don't know.
Who, Killian?
Yeah, Killian.
Killian, yeah. He was actually pretty decent. He was active. He was keeping his hands moving. I liked how he's jumping into passing lanes. So he's showing a little defensive awareness for sure, in my opinion.
Yeah. He made some. I was watching it from the Wizards broadcast, and they said he looked like a free safety. He made him a nice steal and kept it in bounds.
Now, are you talking about the last game or which one?
The last one. When we lost, it was like towards the end of the game, there was a bunch of turnovers in a row. It was like a real heated moment in the game. We were down.
Yeah, that one went down to the wire, surprisingly.
Yeah. Well, they started benching the guys that were really scoring the most on us. Yeah, they benched Westbrook and that Bryant. I don't
know. I didn't get a chance to watch that whole game. One, I didn't know if it was going to be televised or not, and then two, I was working a late night, so I was exhausted. I went into what was that?
I was working too. I was just kind of glancing at it, but yeah, I made sure to watch as much as I could.
I tried to watch the last quarter. I think that's where I really started catching up with it. But Yeah, that was a tough game. It's a tough game to watch when you have to stream it. I rather I like a lot of people like streaming, but I'd much rather watch it on television. Kind of weird
Yeah,
like that. I'm like
it's
old
much.
soul.
Well, I mean, even when you stream it, you're gonna get updates from the game thread before they happen on your stream. So it's kind of that's how it goes.
I was telling I was watching way off topic, so I'll keep it short. Um we're watching a football game with a couple of the admins, and they're all streaming it. They're all using the same stream, and I'm over here
Right,
telling them everything that's happening like a minute before it happens. I like
right.
ruined the whole game for them, but they're like, "Stop telling us!" I'm like, "But I'm so excited."
Buy a subscription. Stop being so cheap.
I know, I know. Get a job, you bums. What
For
what
sure.
what do you think? So, like, Killian Hayes' development, right? We talked a little bit
Yeah.
about it. We talked about him playing defensively and really getting in there in the defense, and playing passing lanes, like you said. He intercepted a lot of things like a free safety. What do you think? Do you see anything else in his game that you're like, hey, there might be something there?
Yeah, well, he's got that little step back move on the 3-pointer. He does that a lot. That's kind of like a go-to. Um, I don't know if he could make that. I mean, it's kind of a hard play to defend. I don't know how you guard the step back. It's really hard. So
James Harden takes advantage of it.
what's that?
James Harden takes advantage of a step
Yeah,
back
yeah,
three.
I know it. And
Mo-
then in
Most of the
between, like,
most of the 3-point shooting guards do a step back three. So I mean, it's a pretty common move for a guard
right,
in today's game. Everybody seems like they just got that step back three where they give the defense a little hesitation,
right.
freezes
They
them up.
hold up, right.
Yep,
A
and
little bit of hesitation, and then you don't know if they're driving or not, and then they do the step
yep,
back, and it's
yep,
really hard to defend.
exactly. Yeah, and and the guys that actually make it, and the problem is that like it's easy to defend if you know the guy's not a good 3-point shooter. But if the guy's a good 3-point shooter, it's really
Right,
hard to defend because you're like, and he's good at driving. It's really hard to defend because you're forced to respect one of the two.
right. Right. So and that's where the jury's still out on Killian because that's what that was always his knock on the scouting reports was that they said he wasn't that great of a shooter. So his 3-point percentage isn't that great, I guess. We'll see.
I like his ability to see the court on kickouts, but like as far as his passing ability goes, like I like his ability to see the kickouts. Um, but that's kind of common in today's game. So I'm just curious on where the rest of his court vision is at.
Yeah, where is he going to stand out? We'll find out this upcoming games. If he really has something that makes him stand out.
I do like his ability to finish around the rim the few times that he has. He's
Yeah,
uh he's done a decent job finishing around the rim. Um, that's going to be key too. I mean, a lot of the stuff like kind of we already talked about, like kind of like, and again, this is not a comparison to James Harden, so don't take it the wrong way. But like a guy like James Harden, the reason why he's hard to defend is because you have to respect him on all parts of the court, and he keeps you on your heels.
right.
And he finishes around the rim efficiently. He's got a step back jumper that's lethal, and it'd be interesting to see where he's at, or where Killian Hayes can develop his game so he's not one dimensional. Can he hit the three consistently? Can he finish around the rim consistently? We'll see. I'm interested. This is why I'm so intrigued by our rookies.
Right. It's going to be
I
something new for us to look forward to. We we were just always hoping for health from our team, and hoping for this, thinking that we could get a 7th seed, a 6th seed. That's what we were hoping for. And we go on these long droughts that happen every year, and losing about 8 out of 10 all the time, back to back. You win about 2 or 3, and then lose 8 out of 10 again. And it was rough for us. It was pretty rough. I mean, we just had hope for a 6th, 7th seed, and we could never get it.
Were you disappointed when we hit 7th?
What's that?
Were you disappointed when we hit 7th?
7. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah,
for your lottery.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can't ever get the luck on that. What was the stat that we never went up for like ever?
Yeah, we get shot down. Yeah. No, I remember that, and I can't remember exactly what it was, but I know what you're referring to. Is that it seems like other teams went up in the lottery, but the Pistons never went up in the lottery. Every time we hit the lottery, or every time we're in the lottery, we either hit exactly where we're supposed to, or we get pushed down.
Right.
I don't know what it is up with that, man. And this year was a good opportunity to move up because of how good of a spot we moved down. Actually, I think we were projected to be number 5.
Yeah, right.
That's to me, yeah, I'm disappointed about that. Because like, if we go into this season as a 20-win team, or we not go into it, but if we finish this season as a 20-win team, and that's the trajectory that the Pistons are always going to be in, a team that never really hits the lottery. And what was the point of having a 20-win season if you're just going to end up with another 7 seed?
Right. I know there's I don't know. There was a lot of optimism over getting a top 3 pick. A lot of people wanted to get the Ball kid, and I don't know. I guess you can't make a judgment on any of it until the games start playing. I'm real excited for the game.
That's true too. As far as like, not necessarily the Plumlee hate, but kind of going back to the Plumlee hate, but speaking more broadly on it, what do you think about Weaver signing these veterans that are taking rookie minutes? And I'm with you. I'm excited to see the rookies, but it's going to be hard to see them if they're fighting for minutes. And they're fighting for minutes on like a losing team. I mean, me and you both know this team's not a playoff team. So
that's really gonna be. It's a lot of there was people saying that we had the worst offseason. There was one source said that we had the worst offseason. But like it's gonna be because it was a move that he really wanted to get Plumlee. Like we had Dedmon already, and we ended up cutting and stretching Dedmon, which is another, that's like a stretch. I'm not a big fan of the stretch, but we'll just have to see. I mean, Plumlee's, I guess he's supposed to be a real veteran, smart, good in the locker room. He might help Killian's development a whole lot. I guess that's the thought that he was looking for something when he wanted Plumlee.
The whole Dedmon situation really baffles me. Kind of with you on that. I'm gonna need to read up more on it because I can't remember all the details on it, but I remember it just being just a big mess.
Yeah. There was so many moves made. Like he was just really ready to build any type of team, and he was just trying to get players, and then he chose a different direction halfway through, kind of. So it is something we're gonna have to answer to if we're not winning. But I do think a lot of them guys are good pickups, like Josh Jackson that we're about to get to. He seems like he could have a pretty dang good year. and a great defensive team. Like, I mean, our defensive player he is, but I think we could be a much better defensive team with some of the guys we picked up. We got so short guards and small forward position. Like, we should be able to defend way better than we ever have over these past years, potentially, or in theory.
For the most part, I agree with you. I want to correct the record real quick too, because on my end, there's a comment that I made in the group about not being impressed with the free agent pickups that we got. And when I say that, I'm not thinking about Okafor, and I'm not thinking about Josh Jackson. Those are not the guys that are coming to my mind. Mainly because we didn't really spend a whole lot of money on them. I'm just thinking of them as just like, I don't know, just like minor pickups, I guess you can say. And and they could, like for example, Christian Wood. Christian Wood's a named player in 2020, right? But in 2019, around this time last year in 2019, Christian Wood wasn't a named player. When we talked about free agent pickups, Christian Wood wasn't in the conversation. He was barely fighting for the last spot with Joe Johnson. So when I think of our free agent pickups from last year, Christian Wood's not the first name that comes to mind. It's the same thing with Josh Jackson and Okafor. Is that I'm not thinking of Okafor and Josh Jackson when I'm saying I'm not really impressed with our free agent pickups. I actually am impressed with those free agent pickups. It's the ones that we spent a lot of money on that I'm so impressed at.
Right, which is so confusing. We got so many good contracts. Surprisingly, even in our situation, the Derrick Rose signing was incredible. We got him for
that was good.
A year for 2 years. Yep. Incredible. And then those two guys, they were former top 5 picks. So and then we got them for cheap, both of them. Oh,
it's because their last clubs just didn't want to deal with them.
Yeah.
Well, it's the same thing with Christian Wood. Christian Wood was a player that the Pelicans just straight up cut. They just like, we don't want you. We don't want to deal with you for whatever reason. The same thing with Josh Jackson. It's the same thing with Okafor.
Yeah, I think Okafor could be pretty good. I think he's got a lot stretch potential that is untapped. I think he can shoot the ball pretty good on a pick and pop, and I think he could be shooting 3-pointers in today's day and age. I don't know. I think he's got potential to reach a whole new level of playing that he has before.
But, so what do you think his ceiling is then?
Ceiling, maybe. I mean, this is too high of a ceiling, honestly. But Paul Millsap, something like
that. Okay. And why do you see that in him?
I can see, because I've been seeing his like off-season workout type tapes and stuff, and he's got a nice looking shot, and I could see in the preseason game, he was like lining up to shoot a 3 even off of a pick with Rose, and like he decided to not do it, but I think it's there, and it was really, when he was in, and we made a really big run because it really was keeping the defense on their heels. Just I don't think he's that he can score inside a little bit, but he's not even the longest, or he's not the longest in the NBA or anything. I think
he's kind of small.
Where the build is stretching out a little bit, and I think he can do it. But
he's kind of a small big, don't you think?
Yeah, he is. He kind of is.
Yeah, I was actually, every time I see him on the court, I'm actually surprised how small he is, because he played a lot bigger in college, and
Right.
I don't know. Let's put it this way: and mind you, I didn't watch a lot of 76ers games when he was with the 76ers because I believe he got drafted to the 76ers, and then he kind of had a bad attitude with them. I don't know if you remember that or not.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he got drafted there, but he got drafted there with Joel Embiid, and this
Right.
is another big. So there's competing interests there to have two bigs that are drafted for the same position. And you look at, so I'm gonna tie this back into the Pistons. Like you look at Okafor and you see him on the court, and I see how small he is, and I'm like, I can see why Joel Embiid was picked over him. Because you look at Embiid on the court, and dude
Right.
towers over a lot of bigs, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's probably beating on him pretty badly in practice.
Yeah.
That size,
Yeah.
that's size,
The way
like,
the
yeah,
way that he's always played in the league reminds me of like Aaron Baines. Like he's just like a short thing. He's not the tallest. He's not going to get every rebound. He's not, but he's just got a little sweeping hook shot. And just
hmm
like Aaron Baines, I think that he can expand his game to long distance shots.
okay.
Just my thought. I don't know. I could be weird. I've been wrong plenty of times. So.
Thoughts on Josh Jackson?
Yeah, Josh Jackson has looked really nice, especially defensively. He's got such a quick jump. And I mean, and not all the time because like his first preseason game, he couldn't get anything right. But
Yeah,
I, I,
he was so, yeah, his first preseason game was a little
he
spotty.
was fouling and getting scored on all the
hmm
time and couldn't make a shot or anything. So, but I think he's got athleticism over like most matchups. He's going to have some type of athletic advantage. So I think he's going to be able to. I think he's going to be pretty helpful. I think he could you can rely on him for offense, and I think his defense is like under the radar. He can like that block he made. He can do that. He can really he can do that.
He got fouled on a couple blocks that should have been
Yeah,
blocks.
he's going to get more blocks than any of our centers or power forwards probably.
Yeah, yeah, he's got a weird I guess not, I don't want to say weird. He's got a weird knack for just slapping the ball out of a offensive player's layup. I don't know if he
Yeah,
like he times the layup really well because he got a
he's got
few of
like a
them.
quick jump or something. You get to him in a surprising
Right.
time.
He closes space really well, like really
Yeah,
fast, really quickly. His timing's really impeccable. At least from the few preseason games that we've seen.
right.
He's got a knack for timing the ball, timing it up where he's swatting the ball on a layup, and he's done it several times. And I'm just like, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah,
A few of them he got fouled on. I'm just like, that was a kind of iffy foul. Probably should have been black.
right. Yeah,
If if um if you had to look at this depth chart that we have, what changes are you seeing in the starting lineup that would probably take place like immediately?
right. Well, it's. I mean, they've already said they want Hayes to start. Um, at the shooting guard, I think that's a tough one. I think Svi is probably um, a good player, but Svi might be better off the bench because he's like a go-to scorer. Like he has been when he shoots it, like no matter how guarded he is or anything, it's got a real legit chance of going in. So I don't know if they want to use him with the starting unit or use him as the bench to score points. I almost think they should do that. He should be like a 6-man or something, and have Josh Jackson start, and just like try to have a balanced defensive team in that starting unit. At the 3, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of like, what do you think? I mean, you could run with like I don't know. Do you want Sekou in the starting unit or?
Let's see. Okay, so if it was me, and I
Mm-hmm.
got a lot of shit for this. If it was me, I would have Blake at center, and this is where I get a lot of shit.
Mm-hmm.
But and the reason why I say Blake at center, and he's undersized for a center, but he's getting less burn at center. He's not going to face a lot of center
Right.
competition. Like the center has been nerfed to such a absurd degree in the
Right.
NBA. It's not like there's a David Robinson on every team. You
Right.
know, what every team does have is like a Michael Bradley,
Right.
and Michael Bradley's not going to like wear you down on a nightly basis.
Right.
So I think Blake can handle minutes at the 5, and what you do sacrifice at that is rebounding, and I think that's probably why he wouldn't play the 5, is that
Um,
he probably is not going to rebound.
I don't know. I mean, he's got the strength. He probably could, but I don't know what I did. I think I saw an interview from the what's his name, Rod Woodward is that it? But
Hmm.
he said something about the coach said he's not looking to do any experimental
Yeah, that's
switching.
right. You're right. I do remember that. And it's funny because I did say that, and then like a week later, I did see that tweet where it said that Dwayne Casey doesn't plan on doing any experimental with
But talking to you,
Blake at the 5.
he's in our group. He's been watching you. He's trying to
He
address you.
probably. I was like, I'm just shooting out an idea out there. He's like, well, we'll see what Dwayne Casey says about that.
Uh,
I just
I
like,
can tell you, I never
yeah.
really thought about the lineups, but honestly, I might do it differently than what they're gonna do. Like I think you might even start Rose at the point guard. That's what you probably should do. Um, Maybe I don't know between Josh Jackson and Svi at the 2, and I almost think you should put Sekou at the 3, um, put Grant at the 4, and put Okafor at the 5 as your starting.
Where would where would you have Blake come off the bench?
Oh yeah. Well, right. I mean, but Blake is a great it's a great one off the. I mean, like a 1-man show type. Like he can be a 1-man offense. Really, that's what. But I don't know. I haven't thought about it enough. Blake probably should be starting just out of respect. But
I don't mind the idea of Blake coming off the bench, but as you said that he's got a lot of star power, but that star is dimming, man.
right, right,
That star is not going to last so much longer. Like 2 years ago when we made the playoffs against the Bucks, that year we really drove him into the dirt.
yeah,
And I guarantee you that year alone at least took a couple years off his career. We
right.
really drove him into the ground.
What
Now,
he did was truly impressive. What he did really was like I didn't
it
even
was,
expect him to do that.
but he shouldn't have been playing that many games,
No,
man. Like we
we let
really
him down.
pushed him into the dirt.
Yeah,
And
for sure.
I'll finish up what I'm saying here. I'll let you finish it. But I don't mind the idea of Blake coming off the bench. I also don't mind the idea of Derrick Rose coming off the bench
Right.
because it saves their legs. Like, they're older players, they're injury prone, and you're going to have to preserve their bodies. And just for like trade value's sake, because come on, man, I don't know if we really want to keep Blake for another 3 years. I think he has another. Let me double check that. I think he has 3 years on his contract still remaining. 2 years, this year and next year. At some point, we're going to want to trade him, and you can't trade him hurt.
You
So
can't
I
trade him
actually
hurt.
don't mind
You
the
can't
idea of
trade
him
him if
coming
he's
off the
not
bench.
right. I kind of like the thought of him coming off the bench just to preserve him, or doing that weak stuff they do with what are the rest days? What do they call that? The
Oh, the load
load
management.
management. Yeah, doing load management. I don't know. I think if you come off the bench, that's already a load management. Like you can really easily or more easily restrict the minutes, and you can use them as needed. Like if your starting unit is like winning, then you can play less minutes even.
Well, take a look at what we did with Derrick Rose last year. What we did
Right.
with Derrick Rose last year is exactly what you just said, is that we used him just like in spot minutes, and not in like when you say spot minutes, everybody's like, "Oh, that means you used him in garbage time." No, spot minutes means that he sat out a lot of the first quarter, let the other guys on the team, carry the heavy lifting. But when we needed him in the fourth quarter to finish our games, he was out there
Right.
in like game time moments where it's like time to make a decision to win the game. He was
Right.
out there. He might not have played through most of the game, but when we needed him in the fourth quarter, he
He
was
was
out
getting
there. And
what
it's kind
20 points a game. Like you could when we after we did, especially all them roster changes, dumping off Drummond and cutting Reggie, and he was you could mark him in for 20 points at least, and he was coming off the bench.
see Kevin
So,
Kevin agrees with you. Kevin says I was going to suggest the same thing. Balake should come off the bench with Rose. I agree. I don't think it's such a bad idea, to be quite honest with you. And we're a 21 team regardless. Even if he does start, still
right,
21 team. We're still 21 team.
right. So I don't know. I don't know which rookies you want to rely on more. I would say they've already committed to Hayes, like being a starter, like baptizing him by fire. So I guess that you just run with that. There's other rookie players, or even he's not a rookie. Sekou, he hasn't shown that he's consistent or anything. So I don't know what you can really rely out of him even now, even though he's shown, that he's changed his body and all this other stuff. I don't know how much you can rely on him to make the professional play. He's still just a kid. He should probably come off the bench or limited minutes until he can prove it.
Speaking of Siku, what'd you think of him and his performances? It's
Yeah,
I won't lead you into it. I kind of just want to hear what you think of it.
yeah. Just that I think he's got great potential, and like I said, he's real good in the open court. But he's still kind of raw, and he might put up 0 points in games even if he's playing a lot of minutes. And you know you have to make a decision between all your veteran players that you got and trying to get him to develop. It's kind of, I don't know. I think he's got a potential. I think he's got a nice 3-point shot if he's open. I think he's got a lot of things that are good, but I just don't think he's got them honed in yet. He's only 20 years old, about to be 20 years old.
Kevin, I don't know if you heard Kevin earlier. earlier he said that we're gonna be calling Siku the French dip
Yeah, yeah,
every time he posters somebody. I don't know if you
yeah,
caught that.
yeah. That we gotta. He's got to do it again because we can make them T-shirts.
Dude, if we can make it, if we can get the T-shirts of the French dip, that'd be
Yeah,
amazing.
yeah. I
Is
hope he becomes a. I hope he becomes that because I mean that was a nasty dunk. Obviously, that was. But I want to see it again. You know, I hope we can keep doing it so then we can
it,
call him the French dip. I want
it
that
was
to happen.
it was so bad. It was so bad. Tristan Thompson took it personally. He came back the next night, and what is like a week later, he put up like a career, he put up career highs.
Right.
He was so pissed. I don't know. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember. I do.
Like, man, you're kind of angry.
Yeah.
Like, calm down, Tristan.
Well, the same thing happened with that Bryant because that confrontation, just even a preseason game, he came back played like it was Game 7, like he was. You could see the refs and everybody talking to him. He's on the free throw line, like, "Yo, calm down. It's preseason, dog. You just calm down." He was really mad. He scored like almost 30 points. He's like a bench player.
It's like, calm down. You're getting cut regardless. You're not making the team either way. You just give it a rest, man. You're playing most of your career in the G League. Just score down, all right? It doesn't matter. You can score 30 or you can score 3 tonight. The result's gonna be the same, man. Oh my God. Yeah, so I would love to see Siku do that again. But kind of going back
As
to
soon as he does it, the
huh?
next time the next time he does the French dip, it's I'm making the T-shirts. I'm making it. He's got to do it. I hope he does it opening night because
I think I think like in the game thread, the next time he posters someone, everybody should be like French dip, like the whole like it should be like 30 comments straight French dip, French dip, French dip.
we'll get the silhouette of the dunk and we'll put
Yeah.
that on French dip.
And then gets sued by Siku because he's gonna use it for his shoe deal. His first shoe, his first sneaker is gonna be him dunking on somebody. The silhouette of him dunking on somebody. It's gonna be called the French dip. The French dip one. Oh my God. Yeah, he's it's interesting. What I liked about Siku is I liked him hustling for loose balls and like really like really forcing himself into the plays. Like he wasn't having plays called for him. He was just forcing himself into the offense.
And it was his rookie year, and the rules are just so different in the NBA. You could see him getting fouls all the time. Like he's just trying to play defense, and he was getting fouls. Like it was a learning process. He's probably still in it, but so, and it's going to be the same thing with Killian Hayes. Like he might foul out in a couple of these games.
What do you think about? Okay, so like the Pistons. So a lot of people complain about Dwayne Casey in his rotations, and I do too. There's some stuff. There's some stuff I really do question about Casey. It's not to the point where I'm just like, get him out of here, man. It's time for him to go because he hasn't had a whole lot to work with. So I'm not complaining too much about it, but I do see some red flags.
Yeah, I remember when we went to the opening game opening night. I was posting on the Pistons thing. I was like, how come you don't give Svi any burn? Like I think this kid could shoot. Like he should have been out there. He should have got some minutes. And then
Uh-huh.
I remember saying that, and I mean it was true. Svi was really one of the biggest bright spots of our team last year. I think he's really going to he's going to be like as effective as Duncan Robinson. Like he's going to be pretty good unless he gets hurt or something.
He's another guy who I like seeing hustle. He's another guy that's
Getting better. He's a smart player, and he really cares about competing at the highest level.
he dives for loose balls. I don't know if you noticed that. He's dived for a couple just loose balls. I'm just like, who does that anymore?
Right. And Rose was doing it too. I saw Rose diving around. We got some tough nosed players. I hope they can put something together.
Maybe we will have more than 20 wins this season. Might have 22.
Yeah. You never know. But that like we're talking about Casey. I think he's late. He's late to noticing things.
Okay.
He's just late to seeing it with the rotation.
I had a point I was going to make about that, and I can't remember. It was about Casey, and it was about his rotation. It was on the topic of Siku.
Oh, yeah.
We were a 20-win team last year, right?
Right.
And we're going nowhere fast, right?
Right.
Do you remember or did you know that Siku did not get his first NBA minutes until like game 38?
Yeah. Right. Right. Then when they did, they started running plays for him. I remember one of the first games he even started. And they were like they had like plays run for him where he was shooting 3-pointers off of a screen and stuff. Like I was like, geez, it didn't really make much sense if you didn't have any faith in him to play up to this point. Now you're running plays specifically for him, and then they're benching him again, like a couple games after that. So I don't know.
It bothers me that we were a 21 team and we're not playing Siku until like sort of the middle of the season. It's pretty much middle of the season. And it's like one of those things. It's like, is this gonna just be a recurring thing? Because like Kevin down here points out that we have Sadiq and Isaiah Stewart, and we also have that's the other guy.
They aren't going to see any minutes. They aren't going to see minutes at all until
Who's the other rookie we got? We got Sadiq Bey, Isaiah Stewart, not Killian Hayes.
You're talking about the point guard. Oh, geez. The guy from
Villanova, right?
Yeah, it's I'm
yeah, I'm about to pull it up. Hold on. It's
the athletic guy.
Saban Lee.
Saban, yeah. Saber, they call him Saber.
Saber. Saber. Yeah. He's from Vanderbilt, my fault.
Yeah, that's it, Vanderbilt.
What I was saying, it's Sadiq that's from Villanova.
Yeah.
If like these are guys that I'm concerned may not play to the middle of the season, if that.
You can almost bank on it. You can almost bank on it.
And it begs the question: it's like, what are we really doing? Are we really in a rebuild? Like, I know we're in a rebuild, but are we serious about this rebuild? Is basically what I'm saying.
I think that Sadiq Bey was somebody that really impressed me in the preseason. Kind of just like Wood did last year, and he didn't get minutes. Like he didn't have the respect the coach for some reason until later. It was unfortunate. I think I don't think we'll see Sadiq Bey playing until it's a blowout, and then he might come in and score some points, and then he might get some minutes after that. It's gonna be something like that.
It bothers me, man. I'm just I like some of the moves that Weaver's made, but there's some moves by Weaver that got a real SVG feel to them.
Right, the stretch. I mean,
This stretch was one, yes. The stretch is. It wasn't as. I don't think it was bad. It wasn't as bad, but it's still. That's funny you said stretch, because yeah, the stretch is definitely one. But the signing of contracts when we really shouldn't be signing anybody. I mean, I'm not referring to Josh Jackson or Okafor. I actually think those are pretty good signings, but the guys that where we're spending money where we shouldn't be spending is basically what I'm talking about.
Right.
Guys, we're talking about, oh, well, it's market value. It's market value. Well, a Lamborghini's at market value. That doesn't mean you can afford it.
Right.
Like, you're asking. What was the other analogy I made? I was like, just because you have a car that's worth 30,000, um, let me set this analogy up right. They were saying that
just because you have $30,000,
Denver
doesn't mean you have to buy the
well, I'm going to set it up. Yeah. But it's elaborated a little bit more, because we're in competition with getting Plumlee. I believe it was, I'm trying to set this up right. I know I'm stalling. It was Plumlee, and we were in competition with Denver to get Plumlee, but we outbid Denver to get Plumlee, correct?
Right.
And the 30,000 car that I'm talking about is Plumlee, and we are on a $30,000 salary, and the Denver Nuggets are on $1,000 salary or $100,000 salary. Just because it's at market value, and the $100,000, the person that makes $100,000 is willing to pay for that, doesn't mean that we're in the position to pay for it ourselves.
Right.
And it's like, I know that was kind of long-winded, but the point is that some people can make that jump, and others gotta weigh your options and be like, all right,
right.
That's not really in our wheelhouse. Like, that's kind of like that's kind of a jump.
It's like going to a car dealership, and we're going to the Denver car dealership, and we say, look, we got $30,000. Like, oh, okay, well, this guy's worth this much, so there's your $30,000. We'll give you Plumlee. It's I don't know. It's not quite the same, but
I just feel like it's a jump. That's what I feel like. I feel like it's a jump.
I don't know. I haven't watched Plumlee's whole career. I know he's been around on a couple teams. I don't know.
It's not just his. Let's say Plumlee is a solid center, right? Let's say he's like the center that we need, right? He just does everything well, right? I still don't think we should be buckling down on that contract for that many years for the position that our team is in right now. Right. We're not ready to make the playoffs. With or without Plumlee, we're still a 20-win team. Next year, huh?
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's a long con. It's like that when we signed what's his name when SVG signed John
Lure.
Lure, just like that. And we were
And
stuck, and we had to get rid of it.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And we're probably going to be a 21 team next year, to be quite honest with you.
Right.
I don't know when we're not going to be a 21 team.
Yeah.
It's not going to be, I tell you right now, it's not going to be Mason Plumlee that's going to take us to 22 wins.
Right.
We're going
And
to be a
and the,
21 team with or without Mason Plumlee.
it's definitely one that's gonna leave you pissed off or if, depending on how things work out, because they really did stretch Dedman in order to pick up. I don't remember exactly how it went down. I'll have to research it, but it seemed like that we cut and stretched Dedman in order to be able to sign Plumlee, in addition to getting Grant also. But I mean, I don't know. I think Dedman was maybe overpaid, and that's I don't know. Was he a free agent or was he a trade? I don't even remember. We got him from Atlanta.
Got him through a trade, I believe. No, we got him through a trade. I would have to look at it closer. Like I was telling you earlier, is that well, we kind of agreed. You actually said it. You were saying that there was so many trades going on, which there were. It was hard to keep up with what was coming in and what was coming out. And
Right.
that was my point too, is that I had a hard time keeping up with what was coming in and coming out. So not everything. I'm not up to date with everything on Dedman. All I know that he was on the roster for a cup of coffee, and then he drank his cup, and now he's stretched for the foreseeable
Yeah.
future. Oh, not for the
We had
foreseeable
Trevor
future, but
Ariza. We had Trevor
that's
Ariza
right.
come
We
in.
got Trevor Ariza too.
When we get
We
our
had
championship ring, we'll have to give him one.
what was that?
We'll have to make him a championship ring when we get our 20 win.
When we go 82-0, we're gonna have to get them their championship rings. What do you think about going 82-0? You think it's possible?
Everything's possible, but for us, no. But I mean, it's technically possible to go 82-0.
But I mean,
I
like,
mean, it's
think about it though. It's a 72 game season. Do you think you can go 82-0?
yeah. Well, yeah. Like you said, I heard it. You have to get up to the championship or the
Eastern
Eastern
Conference, bro.
Conference Finals, and
Yeah.
then win your first two games, and then Corona shuts you down.
Yeah. You think
Anything
it's
can happen.
possible?
Anything can happen.
Anything happen?
But
I'm putting my
that
money on
doesn't
it.
happen.
I think we go 82-0, and I think coronavirus like shuts the entire season down. There might not be another basketball game after that ever.
Yeah, I mean that's probably when the war with China starts, and then it's done. No more basketball.
No more basketball. We went 82-0. I mean, what more can you ask for? We we ended the year on the high note as the apocalypse falls upon us.
No, that's what'll happen when the Lions are gonna on pace to win a Super Bowl.
Oh, Sam with the jabs. It's usually me. It's usually me with the jabs, but here comes Sam. Sam with the stick and move.
Somebody told me it was real funny. Like, it's the marijuana became legal
Mm.
before the Lions won a Super Bowl.
Oh my god! I was, uh, what was I saying? I was saying to Jonathan That's what I was talking to. He was talking about teams that are going to be entered. What teams do you want into the NBA? And and I'm like, you need to cut teams.
Right.
like, like you don't
Yeah.
need to
You get rid
add
of
more teams.
Minnesota.
You need to get like rid of teams. Like we're playing
Right.
a team in Minnesota that you probably shouldn't be in the NBA.
Right.
What
Minnesota. What
is
have
the
they ever
what is the
done?
yeah, what have they ever
What they
done
ever did?
except for taking
Even their first year when they became the expansion team,
yeah,
they took away
Rick
from
Mahorn.
us Rick Mahorn, yeah. And
Yeah,
then what did they
uh,
ever do? What did they
nothing.
ever do? Nothing.
Really did. It was funny that you said it 'cause I was like, as soon as you, before you were saying that, I was just about to say that. What have they ever done except for taking away Rick Mahorn away from us?
Right. That's their
They
greatest
can they
accomplishment.
can get lost, man. They should have been gotten lost like 30 years ago.
Yeah, they should have never been around.
Uh, the Timberwolves, oh my god, what a bunch of rascals!
I mean, I don't even think people in Minnesota like the Timberwolves, do they?
Hey, hold on. I'm gonna pause you on that one. They had some record sellouts when they first brought the expansion team to Minnesota. They
Oh,
had some
really?
record sellouts. You look that up. That it was really interesting to me. I'm like, well, maybe it was justified to bring Minnesota a basketball team. The way that they have fan support to begin their existence. I was surprised. I was shocked. I was like, wow, that's interesting. But I don't think it's kept up over the years. I don't think it's kept up. There's no
Yeah,
way it's kept up.
I get
They
it.
haven't produced anything.
I thought the only people in Minnesota that liked basketball was Prince. I,
The the Golden Gophers barely like basketball.
uh,
They only they only have a basketball team just to stay in the Big Ten.
but and then the conspiracy theorists about the first overall or how the lottery works.
Uh,
Didn't they get the first pick this year? Minnesota? Was it Minnesota or
Minnesota? No, it was wasn't it Charlotte? No, who got the first pick? I can't recall.
I think it was Minnesota because they didn't they lose somebody? I don't know.
Yeah,
We don't need to spend so much time talking about Minnesota.
yeah, Minnesota. Uh, I was gonna say that lost my train of thought.
Oh, dang.
That I lost my train of thought.
Hmm. Sorry.
What were we talking about before we got into Minnesota?
Before
Something about
Minnesota,
huh?
expansion teams and your
That's right.
conversation with Jonathan.
Thank you. God, you're a lifesaver, Sam. I don't know what I would do without you. So going back to the expansion teams, I was talking to Jonathan about teams that they need to get rid of, and Minnesota was definitely one of them. But I was saying that, and we're talking about the Lions. That was what we were talking about, and I was saying that the Lions are much like the New York Knicks, and like,
They're so hyped on themselves.
what was that?
They're so hyped on themselves.
They're so hyped on themselves, but they're terrible organizations that are terribly
Yeah.
ran by terrible owners, and they constantly get the same results no matter what GM, no matter what coach they
But they
put
still
behind
got
the
pride.
operation.
They got more pride than anybody still.
They have a lot of pride, man. It's almost sickening.
Yeah.
but but they're very similar organizations. But here's the kicker: is that he wanted to get rid of the Knicks. He just wanted to axe them outright. And I'm like, you can't do that. I don't think you can do that. They're a historical team.
Right.
You gotta keep the Knicks. He's like, fine, but you gotta force them to sell the team. That's the
Right.
trade-off. You keep the
Right.
Knicks, but you force them to sell.
You got to find some type of racist thing that don't know that he did. Maybe he he
Yeah,
didn't
you gotta find
he did
something to pin some
some
dirt on them.
get some dirt. You got that's
You
the
gotta
way
you
to
gotta
do
just
it.
pin
That's
dirt
how they
on
did it
them.
to the Clippers. They got that
Yeah.
when Ballmer
Well, that's what they're trying to do with
with Gore.
Tom Gores. Yeah,
Yeah.
you gotta just pin dirt on them. If you can pin
Yeah.
some dirt on them, you
Especially
can get them the
racial
heck
dirt.
out of
You
there.
got something.
You gotta
You
do
know,
something. I mean,
you
the
just
clock
follow him
is
with a
ticking.
camera in secret, like, oh, he went to get tacos and he didn't leave any tips. Like,
I mean, the clock is ticking. The clock is ticking. They gotta, they gotta get him out of there before the world ends.
yeah, right. Well, I mean, the problem with the Fords is that they keep on like having babies, right? So they're gonna own it forever.
The Timberwolves did hit, yeah, the Timberwolves had the number one pick. They picked Anthony Edwards.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I said that. I don't know why I didn't catch that myself
hard
when I
to
was reading through the
remember
payroll.
anything
Huh?
Minnesota Timber. It's hard to remember anything that the Minnesota Timberwolves ever do. So don't blame you.
Except for take away Rick Mahorn.
Yeah, you can. I remember that.
You know what my
But
favorite Minnesota? Hold on. You want me to tell you my favorite Minnesota Timberwolves memory? I got
yeah.
one. I got one good Minnesota Timberwolves memory. You ready?
Yeah.
It involved Antonio McDyess.
Uh,
Do you know where I'm going with this?
I will see. Go ahead.
It involved Antonio McDyess. It involved Kevin Garnett.
Yeah, the fight.
The fight. Do you remember
Yeah,
that?
McDyess is he was such a good player,
Yeah, he was. He was a class act, except for that
man.
moment.
Yeah. Uh,
It
you
sticks
can't
out
blame
to me.
anybody.
Uh,
What happens? You can't blame anybody. What happens when you're playing against Minnesota? You know, it's like they shouldn't even do
especially
that.
especially the douche Kevin Garnett,
Oh yeah,
dude. And that was when everybody viewed him as the good guy. Oh,
yeah,
everybody had so much sympathy for him.
no.
It was all show.
Yeah. I couldn't believe that.
I was like, and I think even I was buying into the sympathy angle as well. I'm just like, yeah, I feel bad for Kevin Garnett. He's stuck on the Timberwolves. Who wouldn't feel bad for you if you were stuck on the Timberwolves, you know? So it's like, yeah, everybody's feeling bad for Kevin Garnett. And Antonio McDyess is like, man, you better get that soft shit out of here.
Yeah,
Ain't nobody falling for that.
he was. That's why he's our guy, man. He almost should have his jersey retired. Not really,
He,
but like.
he should.
he
Oh,
was
man.
he was such
Dude,
a
dude, I
he
hate
was
to
like the reason why we were able to go back to the finals. He was
I,
such a
I
good
hate
guy.
to should I make a controversial statement?
Yeah, of course.
He says like, yeah, of course. Jump right on it. Says like, I've seen you die on so many hills, why not? so, so all right, so like everybody was saying that Kobe Bryant should have his number retired for the Pistons. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah, I remember that too. Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
man, that
He deserved the respects that he gets. I was never a fan of him as a basketball player or
yeah.
anything, but you know, I'm not gonna say anything bad about him now.
Right.
But,
Like
no,
that,
I
that
don't
might
think he
not be
should
the
have
right move.
it. But I don't. There's no way he should have his jersey retired. And
Now with the Pistons. No, I completely agree. But there are people really pushing for it.
yeah, I know. People get they go completely on emotion.
Yeah, it was all out of emotion. I'm just like, I know. Because like I can think of another 24 that deserves his number retired that's
Right,
not Kobe Bryant. And that
right.
actually wore the jersey.
Yeah, that's right.
I just like
We had tragedy and I mean, I'm saying controversial stuff too. And I should you got me on this. But like we had Uncle Cliffy. He just died young. I mean, not as
that's
young as
right.
Kobe did, but
That's
like it's
right.
still a tragedy, and it's very personal to us and me. And to me, I'm more sad about his death, but I'm also sad by anybody dying like the way Kobe did. But you know what I mean. If anything,
Yeah,
I would
no,
rather have Uncle Kobe's jersey retired than Kobe's.
hey, I'm right with you. But here goes another one. Speaking of Minnesota, Flip Saunders.
Yeah, right. Nobody even thinks. They
We
don't even remember that he was our coach. If they're not a Pistons fan, they don't even know.
and that's disappointing. Even though even though Flip was slightly disappointing. I mean, he still did some notable things here that most
Yeah,
coaches
right,
never even done. Like all the hype, like for example, all the hype that Stan Van Gundy got coming in, and what did he accomplish? You know,
right,
like even Flip Saunders didn't come in with that much fanfare. I don't know if
right.
you remember the fanfare that Stan Van Gundy got. He came in like he was leading a parade. And I'm not gonna. I'll be honest with you. I wasn't totally against it, so I can't say
Right.
that I wasn't in the parade. I wasn't in the parade myself. You know, there's just some things that I didn't like. There's things I'll admit to that I wasn't keen to or I didn't call out, and there's stuff that I'll admit that I'll say that yeah I called that out. I won't say that I called Stan Van Gundy out as being an incompetent, turning out to be an incompetent coach. I really did think that he could have done some good things here,
Right.
and it didn't happen.
It
But
wasn't only until they started happening that I started questioning. I'm like, I didn't like that. Like he always the way he built his rosters. He always had to have like a very retired aged point guard, and like it, like yeah, I don't know the bench. You always like having Udra that
yeah,
with Udra.
Bina,
Yeah, like
Bina.
you had like that was just a I when I called it out when I saw that, and then I didn't like the stretch, even though we did go on that great win streak right after we cut Josh Smith, but I was like, man, I was wrong. But when right exactly when it happened, I was saying this was a horrible move. You just eat the contract, don't stretch it. And then after they cut him, we were winning. I was like, man, I was wrong. But then I ended up kind of being right again after.
But I mean, I think you're still right. I think overall you're still right because like you can still cut him outright.
Yeah.
You just
Without
have to pay more in the cap,
right,
you know. So you're still right. I mean, you're still right because the best move for them to do was just to eat that salary by just cutting him outright and not
right,
stretching it. Just saying, okay, fine, we'll take I forgot what it was. It was like $14 million loss per
right.
year, and it was only for 2 more years.
2 more
So
years.
we just got to put up with for the remainder of that year, which was already almost halfway done, and then the
So many
remainder of the
teams
year after
do
that.
that. Like the
Huh?
Lakers had, like so many teams do that. They have a contract that's just eaten even for 2 years. Like Luol Deng, and there's just so many players that are like that. Like they're not tradable, but you just eat their contract until it's
Mm.
done.
So Sam, what do you think, man? You got anything else to add tonight?
I don't know. Not really. We probably should wrap it up. It's been a long time. But
Yeah, man. Dude, it's been a long time since we talked.
yeah, I know it.
Well,
It's like not a normal day. We're closed at my restaurants. I got like a couple weeks. I got like 2 weeks where I'm gonna have way more time than I'm used to. So
is it because of the holiday?
yeah, pretty much. And yeah, it's the holiday. It's nice
Gotcha,
though.
gotcha. Okay, all right. Well, Sam, it was good talking to you. Any parting words you want to give everybody?
Go Pistons.
Go Pistons. Man, that's why I like you, Sam. That's the thing. That's why I like you. That's exactly what I want to hear. Go Pistons.
Oh,
All
go Pistons.
right, Sam. I'd like to get your take after tomorrow's game.
Yeah,
You want to do this again for a part two?
for sure. Sounds good.
All right, man. We'll get it going for a part two. All right, Sam. Hey, everybody. This was Sam Bell, and this was your host Miguel, and we're gonna take you out of here. Have a good one. Hopefully we'll beat the Timberwolves. Maybe we won't. I don't know. We'll
Are we
see
mad?
where everybody's at after game. Oh, you know what?
We're
Game
gonna be
one's gonna
mad.
game one of the huh?
We're gonna be mad if you don't beat the Timberwolves.
Well, I'm saying like game one's gonna tell you where this team's at,
Yeah, yeah.
especially against a bad team. We're gonna see
Right.
how bad we actually are. It's actually a good
Yeah,
barometer, basically what I'm saying.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. So I'm looking forward to it. So Sam, thank you for joining me. We'll be back for another. We'll probably be back for a part two after that game to get a wrap up. But thank you, Sam. I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, I'm trying to find my jersey here, but never mind. We'll do next time. All right, White Wallace out.
Good night, man. Take care.
All right. Yeah.